Hello YouTube friends, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, welcome to the Painted South. So we are finally in September and the actual fall season starts September 22nd. So we're in the very beginning of September. We just had Labor Day weekend and the weather was so amazing. I was going to be decorating in here and doing a big fall mantle, which we're going to get to that, but the weather was so amazing over the weekend, and it has, like, today is just absolutely amazing. I love this weather. It is my favorite. It's still warm during the day, but it's cool in the mornings. It's amazing. So the weather was so beautiful. Instead of decorating, I ran around, did some shopping, a small haul, things we're going to be using on the mantle and around the house. And I also wanted to decorate the front porch. The problem is, we live in the woods and it's very humid here all summer long. And when the grass is mowed outside, we hire somebody to mow the grass. It's basically weeds, but when he mows the grass, this massive cloud of very fine dust comes up. Our soil is very sandy and it's very dry. So it's humid, and then he mows and then it sticks to our house. All of our railing, all the porches, I mean, it makes a massive mess. Now, in years past, I have decorated the front porch. I've had tons of plants out there and we got lots of frogs in there. I don't know if you've seen any of those videos, but it was very hard to keep it clean. And so this past summer, I was just like, I'm not doing anything out there until we come up with a better solution, figure out what's going on with our exterior yard and all of that stuff. So everything is a process, and I'm sorry I can't just snap my fingers and make these videos and everything's done, but everything takes a long time. So I got outside and pressure washed. I bought a new pressure washer online, and I'll link it in my Amazon store. I just looked one up online. It had good reviews for the price, so I just bought it. And I bought that and went ahead and pressure washed the front porch. Now, it's not perfect. I still need to do a little bit of painting where some things are kind of yucky and some caulking and so forth. But I just had to clean the front porch before I could even sort of decorate it for fall and kind of get it ready. I probably have to paint a couple of things. No surprise there. And so that's what I worked on first. That's why I don't have this mantle done. And so let me show you what I did outside on the front porch, what it looked like, how the pressure washer made a difference, and then we'll go from there. So after I was done with the front porch, well, good enough until next spring, I want to paint that concrete. It's so stained, but at least it's kind of clean. Same thing with all of the railing on the front porch. I have a new design that I want to do, and so we'll have to rip some of that off and do some things. So that again is going to wait until the spring. We have too much going on here on the inside to worry about that right now, so I'm going to make it look as good as I can, do a little bit around the front door, and a couple little things, and that's really it. A little bit of a warm fall welcome, and that's all I'm going to do on the front porch. If you've watched any of my recent videos, you know that we are doing a Butler's pantry. That's what I'm going to call it. It's going to have a sink. I was saying wet bar, whatever. But while we were out shopping, we found a refrigerator at Lowe's on clearance. We're going to do a little something to that refrigerator, so I was glad we got it on sale. I hope it works out because I may end up ruining it. I need a rug for this room. I've been in search for the perfect rug for this living room. They did have a beautiful rug. I love the colors in it, but it did have a lot of light blue, which I really like. But it seems like whenever I get a patterned rug and I put it on the floor, it clashes with everything else in this room. It's very difficult with the furniture that we have. So I've also been looking at maybe having some things reupholstered, looking for some other couches, but I'm just going to continue decorating with what I have and trying to make things work. And we will continue to look for an area rug because, as a lot of you know, we are grandparents now, and our little grandbaby is 10 months old. So he will be 1 in October, and they haven't been here yet. It's a very long drive for them. So I don't know if or when they're going to make it out here. Maybe the holidays, let's hope. But I want to definitely have a nice, comfortable rug for all of us to sort of lay on and play around and wrestle with them and all that kind of thing. So I definitely want to have one of those for the holidays coming up. But for right now, I don't have one yet. But I did see a beautiful one at Lowe's, and I wanted to share that with you. Also, for our Butler's pantry, I needed a sink. And sinks are very expensive. We're trying to do this on a reasonable budget, and I'm going to share the whole renovation and how much everything cost in the final video later on. But I found a sink. It was 2 hours away. It was a $750 Kohler cast iron sink, the exact size that I wanted, or I thought I wanted. And so we drove and got it, and I really liked it. And we were going to use that. It was a drop-in sink because we had decided to get butcher block. We're trying to do everything on a budget, and we went round and round. Do we want to do tile countertops to make it look old world European, something textural? I love marble and granite, but they're very expensive. My favorite is quartzite. Absolutely love quartzite. Always my favorite, hands down. So we had gone ahead. We were just like, let's just get butcher block. We're doing it on a budget. And then, so we got that sink for $75. $75 on Marketplace for a $750 sink. And long story short, we were talking about it, and I was like, I really don't feel comfortable, just the cleaning factor and so forth, having butcher block around a sink. I have had that before in a house that we redid. We actually did it in a rental that had a gross kitchen, and it worked out fine, but you really had to stay on top of it. I know people do it, and I know you can coat it, but we just went round and round, and we didn't want to spend the money for countertops that we would ultimately love forever because it's just a small room. And I was like, I'd rather save that money and spend that whenever we renovate our kitchen. And so I was like, well, let's just go and see if anywhere local has any remnants, because it's kind of two small spaces. It's 68.5 inches on one side where the sink's going to go, and 68.5 on the other side where, basically their little refrigerator's going to go. So we went to a local granite shop and looked around and happened to find one of our all-time favorite, and it happens to be very popular, quartzites, which is Taj Mahal. Now, their remnants are very affordable. This can go from anywhere from 85 to 115 a square foot, different quartzites. It all depends where you go and how much business they do or whatever. But their remnants were only $40 a square foot. And they happened to have two separate pieces. They were not from the same slab, left over from other jobs. And we were able to find two pieces that would work in that space for $40 a square foot. Now that still seems like a lot, but for quartzite, for Taj Mahal quartzite, it was a very good price. And so we decided that we would spend a little bit more, well, a lot more than the butcher block, and get something that we really loved. Well, that presented another problem because yes, we could use the drop-in sink, but I didn't want to see a big caulk thing around it, and I wanted to see as much of the countertop as possible, because when they cut out a sink, the bigger the sink, obviously the less counter space you have, and the less of that beautiful quartzite that you're going to see. So we decided that we would order a sink. And you guys, sinks are expensive. I didn't want to spend the money for another cast iron undermount Kohler sink. It's just too much money. So I did find one. It is not cast iron. It is fire clay, which is fine. We're not going to be using that room like really hard and banging pots and pans or anything like that in it. So I think it's going to be fine. And it was very hard to find a size that I wanted. I decided after seeing the one that we bought for $75 in the space, I decided that that was maybe a little bit too big, even though I really liked it. I thought, I want to see more of the countertop, and I want to have a coffee maker there and have more countertop space. So I ended up going with a little bit smaller sink. It arrived the other day. It's a great size. I like it. And it is now at the granite place because they have to have that on site so they can cut the hole, and then it will be polished because I got an undermount sink. That way we don't have that rim. We don't see a lot of caulk or sealant, whatever the silicone or whatever they use. I have a lot more to talk about as far as the design goes in that space, the backsplash, some other things, the paint colors, the cabinets that we're adding trim, just a lot of different things. But I think I'm going to share the rest of that renovation update for another video and focus on some other things in this video. And I wanted to show you what I found at Carolina Pottery. We went out over the Labor Day weekend and I was able to purchase just a few things. There's so many things you can buy, you guys, and I was tempted to get this massive turkey. I saw one the first time I went to Carolina Pottery. It was about, I think, like this big, whatever. the proportions. It was about this big. And then I went back the other day with my husband and I found one that was like ginormous. And I loved it, and I would absolutely love to have it and put it here on the mantle, but I think it was actually a little bit too big. And the other thing is, when you're purchasing things for your home, I'm really trying to find things that I can use for many seasons. And I love that turkey, but it's so big, I would have to store it. And even the smaller one was kind of big. Now, I may end up getting a big one later on. Who knows? If we start having Thanksgiving dinners here with the family, that would be wonderful. But it's just something that I'm really trying to like pare down, and that's something that I'm going to have to store, and I can only really use it for one season. So I'm going to stick with the other turkey that I painted in a recent video to add that element in when we get into more like November. I feel like a turkey is perfect for Thanksgiving dinner. To me, like September and October, it's more pumpkins and leaves and mixing greens in with the fall things to sort of transition into there. And then November, which most people are decorating for Christmas in November, but if you like to decorate for Thanksgiving, it's more like burnt, darker, richer colors. There's not a lot of green going on usually by November. So there's just a transition, and it's really hard to just redecorate for every few weeks because it goes by pretty quickly. So I decided not to get the turkey, but if you want it, it's at Carolina Pottery. There's two, a massive one and then a little bit smaller one. And they do sell them online. I believe I saw them on Wayfair. If I can find them on Amazon, I'll link them in my Amazon storefront. So anyway, another temptation that I didn't get. I've been pretty good. But what I did get at Carolina Pottery were these great stems. That's why I went there. I went there to find a few more stems to add to my collection. I'm trying to get rid of the greenery and the faux florals and the things that look super, super fake. I mean, obviously they're going to look kind of fake because they are, but there are some that are a little more realistic, or at least aren't like super shiny or made of paper. Some, you know, there are just certain things that look very fake. So let me show you what I found at Carolina Pottery. It's just a few different stems, but I really love the colors. They scream fall, and I will be able to use these year after year after year. So let me grab those and show you what I got. So these are not particularly for fall, but I do like the dusty color that they have. They're just faux eucalyptus. I thought those were super pretty. And the leaves to me look pretty realistic. Let me see if I can get it closer for you. You know, so from afar, even just a few feet, I think they look pretty realistic. They're very full. And these were, I have another one. Let's see, these were $7.99. Not too bad. They come in plastic like that. Some of them are already out of the packages, but I only got 2 of those. I don't know why. I think I only got 2 of those. I may need to go back. Okay. The next stems that I got, or I guess you would consider these bushes, I got these. Now these were $6.99. They kind of look like they have a little bit of a shine to them, and they do, but again, it's not crazy shiny, like crazy plastic shiny. And from just a few feet away, they look very real, I think. And I love those colors. Nice and soft and muted, so you can tuck them in anywhere. They'll look great up here on the mantle or wherever. I might use them on the front porch. So I got these. Okay, next I got these, $6.99. How pretty are these? All right, they're looking a little bright up close like that, but they are a beautiful orange. They do have a lot of variation. That's one thing to look for. Obviously, I'm sure you already know this, but just try to look for some that have slight variation. They look a lot more realistic because that's how nature looks. My ring light is kind of blasting everything out, but I just love these. They add a lot of color. You can see how kind of dull my mantle looks right now, and that's going to pop really nicely without being overly orange. So I really liked these. Now these might be one of my favorite buys at Carolina Pottery. The color is gorgeous, and I actually have curtains this color, and I had put them up and I've already taken them back down. These peat green curtains are like my neutral. I have tried so many different curtains, and I usually change them out every season. But I want to have some things in the house that just stay the same, because it's very hard to change everything out and store everything that you're not using for every season. So these are kind of my neutral right now. They look kind of gold on camera sometimes, but they're called peat green. They are listed in my Amazon storefront with some other colors that I've also purchased. They are a phenomenal buy. They are lined, they are weighted, they're very high quality. There's a huge difference in these and some of the other ones that I have ordered in the past. So anyway, I love that color. So they're going to stay up for the fall and probably through winter as well. But these are gorgeous. Again, I have curtains this color that really like made it pop, but I took them down. Anyway, I got these. They're super pretty. The light's blasting them out a little bit, but it's a fairly full bush, and they were only $7.99, so I think that's a pretty good buy. You could probably just have a couple of these in a vase or something, or add them here. They immediately add that fall touch, and I just love them. So I got several of these. I went there once, I got a couple, and then I came back and I was like, these look great in here. So I did go back and get a few more. Again, these are all from Carolina Pottery. I'm sure Hobby Lobby has something similar, but I'm just showing you what I got locally. I think you can order stuff from them online. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure you can. So if you need the SKU number, I should have shown you the SKU number on the other ones. I'll put it up on the screen. So I got those. What I really went there for was to find, which I know I can order on Amazon, I'm probably gonna have to. I wanted some realistic looking faux ferns to put in the front and add some things to. But I didn't, the ones that they had there it's not what I wanted. So if you know of faux ferns that look amazingly real, and you've bought them and you love them and they're legitimate, because sometimes you see things online and then you get them and they look terrible. So if you know of any faux ferns, please drop in the comments below, leave a link to what you ordered if you really like them and they looked real. I'm looking for like the big ferns, the big Boston ferns that fan out really large and look realistic. So let me know. So the next ones that I got were these. These are gorgeous. They were only $5.99. And they're just a nice neutral mix. It looks like they have, I don't really know, it looks like a little mini fern mixed with some grasses. I don't know. I don't know what all these faux plants are supposed to be. You can let me know, but I just loved all of the texture. That's the main thing that I got them for, the texture and their neutral color. So they're really going to stand up. Sometimes when you have like faux stems or bushes or whatever, when you lay them down or whatever, they flop over, and these have a lot of structure, so they'll be good to add to different arrangements and things like that. So I got several of these, and again, $5.99. Okay, and then the last ones that I got were these I guess are eucalyptus. Yes, eucalyptus, and these are called sprays. Here's the little tag. So these are not quite as full in this color, this neutral color, but let me show you the leaves close up. So see, you would have to have kind of two to make it as full as the other ones. Let me try to get something close up here for you. But they're super pretty. They have a lot of texture, but it's very subtle. The colors in it are very subtle. But I really love these, and again, they'll help sort of brighten up my mantle space back here, or I may use these on the front porch. They might get lost, I don't know. But anyway, I love these, and that's all that I got at Carolina Pottery. I'm lying just now. I should get one other thing. Don't want to lie to you. I got this because I don't need one random napkin, but I loved these vintage colors. So let me show this to you. And this is seriously, this is all I got. Let me turn it this way. This is just one napkin, but I thought I would drape it over a basket or something. I love those sort of muted ochre colors. The oranges are a little bit more muted and the greens. So I thought it was cute. Again, it's just one napkin. They have lots of napkins, tea towels, all kinds of stuff there. Anything you can kind of think of for your home, they probably have it there. They had a lot of pots outside. I'm sure they have a lot more for the summer, but they did have a lot of their garden pots out in that area. They were 25% off. I saw several things that I really thought about getting, but I'm trying to be good, trying to get rid of some things, and I just have too much stuff. So I am going to be reusing a lot of things I already have, with the exception of adding a little bit more of the stems that I needed to sort of fill in some areas and add color. But I have so much stuff. I'm just going to keep reusing it for now, and I'm slowly getting rid of things that I don't love. I'm just like, do you just have any decor that you use it and you're just like, I do not like that. If I can't paint it, if I can't fix it, I'm getting rid of it. And even some of the things that I think are absolutely gorgeous, sometimes I just hang them on the wall and I'm like, this is just not fitting in my house right now or what I want right now. And in fact, one of these is this painting back here. I love this painting, but it's just, I don't know what it is. Every time I hang it up in my house, I don't know if like the cows are kind of too small. I feel like maybe I could change the frame, but I have somebody interested in buying it already. So I think I'm going to just go ahead and let it go, but I'll show you that. It's absolutely stunning. You may have seen the episode where I got it Birdhouse in Columbia, and it's just gorgeous. It's just gorgeous. And I don't know, I may keep it. I don't know what it is. It's just one of those things. It's absolutely stunning, but in this house, I don't know. I put it on the wall. I've liked it, but then I don't know. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the scale of the cows because they're so tiny. I think maybe it could be the frame. I think maybe a nice rustic wood carved frame would probably, even though I love gold, maybe that would look a little bit better. I don't know what it is, but I can't keep things forever. I'm trying to clear out some space, so something's got to go, and that's one of those things. So really quickly, I wanted to talk to you about the centerpiece that I'm thinking about for the mantle. And as you're doing your fall decorating, you may already be finished, but just what I'm sort of mentally going through is I love this swan. I use it all over the house, all throughout the year. I just kind of move it around, but some things just fit an area. I mentioned that turkey, and it would fit here. It's more the scale. The large one is more the scale of the swan. It's very large. And because the mantle is so big and we have a very heavy, sort of visually heavy wood burning stove here, if I put something very tiny here, it just doesn't look right. It has to be a larger scale. I have 2 side tables, which you'll see, but it's just, you have to use something very large. And let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay. All right, I had to move that pumpkin. So this is the turkey I painted in a recent video. I love how it turned out. It was a glittery gold, in case you missed it. I will link that video at the end of this one, in case you did miss it, on how you can get many different looks on your items. But if you look at the size of this swan, the scale of it, and then I put the turkey beside it. I mean, it looks tiny. It's just way too small. And if it were here instead of this swan, it's just going to get completely lost in the whole display. And so I've gone through a lot of different things that I have. I have a pheasant, I have a peacock. I'm going to show you those. And nothing fits the scale that I own right now, which is why I may need to go buy that turkey. Anyway, so there's the turkey. He's gonna have to go in the kitchen. Okay, here's a peacock. Now, I'm probably going to give this a makeover. Maybe not. I kind of like the gray. But this, I purchased this at not Garden Ridge, at home in Augusta or North Augusta. Anyway, I purchased it at an at-home store on clearance maybe 2 years ago. Their summer clearance. I don't have the sticker on it anymore. But it is a pretty good size, or so you would think. But when you put it up here, well, if I can get it back far enough, it's so much smaller in comparison, it just doesn't look right. Now, I could stack it and stack it on a pedestal and pair it with some other things and maybe make a collage. But again, the mantle is just so big, it needs something this size, in my opinion. So this was an option and it didn't work, but how pretty is that? I think I might is that a cobweb? I don't know. Anyway, there's that peacock, super pretty. I might use this for Christmas. A lot of people do the peacock trees. They'll use peacock feathers or sort of those vibrant colors. You could do that, but just because it's a peacock doesn't mean you have to use peacock feathers. It's a beautiful bird, and this one's very neutral. I may leave it this color or I may tweak it, but I think that he is very pretty, and I got it on maybe 50 or 75% off clearance for the summer. So always try to check your garden type stores for the end of summer clearance, because a lot of times they have the owls and all those types of things that look summery, but you can always paint them to go more into fall or Christmas decor. So that one. Sorry about that. I tripped over the cord. Almost hurt myself. Knocked the whole camera situation down. So I apologize for that. But I didn't hurt myself. So let's move on. The next thing that I have is this pheasant. I used this last year. I had a pair of, I didn't have a pair. I had two of the identical pheasants. Usually one's looking at the other one. That happens a lot. If you're out and about, you'll get two of the exact same thing. They're not like a complementary pair. So anyway, that's what happened with these. And I sold one in my vendor space that I no longer have anymore. And I did like a antique bronze gold look. It was very pretty and it looked so much better. This just has a base coat of this metallic color. I don't know if you can kind of see it. So if I do use this, it's definitely going to get finished. It's okay, but it doesn't have a lot of depth. It's just like one shiny spray paint color, which I don't like to do. So I'm definitely going to be giving this a makeover if I use it anywhere in the house for this season. If I don't use it for the fall, it will go in my Christmas decor. And again, if you look at the scale, just put them up there. It's just so much smaller. When you look at the scale of the mantle as a total. So always keep that in mind when you're decorating. So he's a no-go for the mantle this year. I think I have used him before on the mantle and it's too small. Anyways, the next two pieces that I have, one of them I found at a thrift store for a few dollars. I don't know which one's which. And then the other one I got at a consignment store. I think it was Roundabout Consignments. Is that in Irmo? Somewhere up there in Columbia. I found the other one, whichever one it was. One of them has a little bit more of that greenish color, that aged patina, the verdigris, whatever they call it. So that these are the exact same. Again, they're not like a complementary pair, but if you turn them at the right angle, you can kind of make them look that way. You could use these on your mantle if you use a different centerpiece, like a large mirror or a piece of art or something like that. If you have a large mantle like this, they could go at the ends. They could go at the ends like that on either side. Obviously, I wouldn't put it right there, but you can make things that maybe are a little bit smaller scale work if your centerpiece doesn't need, you don't want something like this in the center, a piece of artwork, something sculptural, carved wood piece. I mean, you could put a million things up there. And then if you do like the sort of animals or birds, any of the turkeys or just anything, if it's spring, rabbits, all that kind of stuff, you can just obviously pop those on the end and it sort of will balance that out. In fact, I'd probably put it more here. So those are just some of the things I wanted to share with you. I know a lot of you already know all of these things, but I just wanted to share with you my thought process as far as picking out things for the mantle to decorate with, and also that I'm really trying to finally get my home things in place. I mean, I know it's probably going to take another couple of years to curate things in the home that really work in the space that we love. Because when you bring things from another home, they just don't work in your next house sometimes. So that's what I'm working on. If I can find some seating and a rug, I will share that with you as well. Let's go out onto the porch and I'll show you what I'm working on out there and getting that ready to make my fall arrangements. So let's go out onto the porch. Okay, we're out on the front porch. It does look a little bit better. I have some sweeping to do, but as far as pressure washing goes, it really helped. I'm going to be decorating that area, but let me show you what is going on. These are rusting. The caulking needs redone, or the silicone. So I need to replace that silicone or caulking, and then I'm going to paint those metal, I forget what they're called, lentils, something. I'll put it on screen. But I think that should be painted like a brick color, and so I think I'm going to do that. They had them painted white, and now they are totally rusted, so I'm going to need to fix those and redo the caulking. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to decorate here. That's what I'm thinking so far. That has a glass top, but I might use it in a different way, and I'll show that to you in the next video. And then I have these chairs, finally brought them back out. Everything already needs swept. These need to be replanted in another pot. They need to be separated. I have some new shoots coming out. If you can see there, so these two need to come out. Actually, that needs watered. Have some more soil. There's the glass tops. Our yard looks a hot mess. Just ignore it. And I'm going to reuse this rug for now. I've been looking for another outdoor rug that's a little bit more suitable for fall, but this one's fine for now. What I do with these rugs is once they get kind of gross and it's kind of busted over there, I take these and throw them on the back porch. Our cat likes to use them to sharpen his claws. And so this is probably going to go on the back porch when I get a new one for the front. Now I decided to use these. I had them back on the back porch, but these are the ones that I painted. They are from Lowe's. They're just like a resin. And I added texture and painted them, and they turned out really nicely, I think. I will link that video for you if you happen to have missed it, but I really like painting these plastic urns, or resin urns. They're so much easier to move around and lightweight, and as I'm getting older, my back hurts all the time, so it's nice to have things that don't weigh a million pounds. Another reason I'm going to show you the front porch decorated in a later video is because I've been looking for some new light fixtures as well. This light fixture is okay. It's a little small, not my style. Oh, also I have to paint above the doorway there. But it's open at the bottom, and if you'll notice, if I don't get myself stung, we have a lovely wasp's nest or hornet, whatever, I don't know, some kind of nasty bee. There's one in that one, and there's one in this one, and this light has never worked since we moved here, so I don't know what's going on, but we want to get that figured out. And then also we removed the doorbell in the house, and so this doesn't work. So we're going to get one of those little ring light things for there. Excuse the ladder. We are trying to clean some of the gutters out and scrub those down, but I did want to show you this beautiful vintage hanging planter. It's metal, very rusted. My mother-in-law gave this to me when we were visiting in Pennsylvania the other week. I'm sure you can hear that plane going by. Perfect timing. But I just thought it was so pretty, and I actually got a pair of them. I may touch them up. I do love the rust, but I think I need to sort of protect the chain. It's very rusty. Now, I love this diamond pattern on anything. It's so pretty. I just think it's very French country. I just love it. So happy she gave those to me, and I can't wait to use them. Well, I hope you all have your homes decorated, or you are decorating. We are going to be doing decorating in the next video, all for fall, like I mentioned, and we'll probably have a couple of paint projects thrown in there. I have a couple of things that need a little bit of touching up, so we may sprinkle those in the next video as well. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I can't wait to see you in the next one. So until then, bye for now.